Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Excellencies, distinguished guests, I bring to you the warm greetings of my Prime Minister, Shri Narendra Modi, and billion-plus Indians for a successful summit. I would also like to convey his warm regards to the President of Kazakhstan, Mr. Kassym-Jomart Tokayev, as the chairperson of CICA Summit, and I must compliment and congratulate President for being a gracious host to all of us. The year 2022 is an important milestone, not just for India, but also for CICA. This year, India is celebrating 75 years of its independence, while CICA completes 30 years of its formation. Over the last 3 decades, this forum has made commendable progress and has played an important role in building confidence between countries of large and diverse continent on a wide range of issues. This is in tune with India's support for inclusive, consultative, and cooperative multilateralism and our fundamental philosophy of Vasudhaiv Kutumbakam, which means the world is one family. This ancient tradition continues to guide India's foreign policy in general, and naturally this applies even in greater measures to Asia. A belief is expressed in a variety of ways, including in meeting challenges and finding solutions together. This was clearly in evidence during the COVID pandemic. While providing for our own people, India did not abdicate its responsibility towards the humanity at large, and this was discernible when we provided vaccines, medicines, and medical supplies, as well as expertise to more than 150 nations. India has exhibited its commitment to sustainable development, and through the flagship initiatives such as International Solar Alliance, ISA, and Coalition for Disaster Resilient Infrastructure, CDRI. Digital India is a flagship program of the Government of India with a vision to transform India into a digitally empowered society and knowledge economy. In this regard, we endorse the CICA leaders' statement on cooperation in the field of security and in the field of ICTs to strengthen cooperation in this field. As one of the founding members of CICA, India had supported CICA's initiatives, including organizing and participating in CICA activities. Recently, we assumed the role of CICA coordinator on counter-terrorism and have proposed to conduct a workshop in this regard. India is currently the chair of UN Security Council Counter-Terrorism Committee for 2022 and will host a special meeting in Mumbai and New Delhi on 28-29 October to focus on countering the use of new and emerging technologies for terrorist purposes. In addition to this, Ministry of Home Affairs or Home or Interior is also holding a conference in the month of November on No Money for Terror. Terrorism remains the biggest challenge and threat to our peace and continues to be the biggest violator of human rights in all its forms. Terrorism, like climate change and pandemic, impacts us all. India follows a zero-tolerance approach towards terror and unequivocally condemns terrorism in all its forms and manifestations, including cross-border terrorism. India is also hosting many other organized conferences in this regard. For many decades, India has been affected particularly by the menace of cross-border terrorism, sustained through financial, political, and moral support of some states. Excellencies, it is unfortunate that Pakistan has again chosen the path of reckless use or misuse of CICA platform to propagate false and malicious propaganda against my country and distract from the theme and focus of today's discussions and cooperation amongst member states. The Union territories of Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh have been and will remain an integral part of India. Pakistan has no locus standi to comment on India's internal affairs. Pakistan's remarks today constitute gross interference in India's internal affairs, sovereignty, and territorial integrity, which is inconsistent with the CICA Declaration on the Principles Guiding Relations between CICA member states of September 1999. Pakistan is the global epicenter of terrorism and continues to be the source of terrorist activities, including in India. Pakistan continues to make no investment in human development, but provides their resources for creating and sustaining infrastructure of terrorism. Pakistan must immediately cease anti-India cross-border terrorism and shut down its infrastructure of terrorism. It will do well to stop the grave and persistent human rights violations in Pakistan-occupied Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh, refrain from effecting any further material changes in the status of Pakistan-occupied Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh, and vacate the Indian territories that are under its illegal and forcible occupation. We desire normal relationships with all our neighbors, including Pakistan. Pakistan is thereby advised to walk the talk by creating a conducive atmosphere, including by taking credible, verifiable, and irreversible actions to not allow any territory under its control to be used for cross-border terrorism against India in any manner. This will enable the two countries to engage and address issues bilaterally rather than distract this important international forum for its agenda of cooperation. At the UN Security Council, where India would be completing its tenure as a member this year, counterterrorism has been one of our focus areas. I hope that CICA members will be able to enhance our cooperation of the UN Global Counterterrorism Strategy, which we will adopt later this day. Excellencies, since time immemorial, India has been a home to persecuted minorities fleeing from across the globe. India has been undertaking numerous initiatives for the socio-economic development of the minorities in line with our constitutional mandate under the Article 15, 16, 26, and 30 of the Indian Constitution. And I'm happy to share that this year, India has allocated 50.2 billion rupees to the Ministry of Minority Affairs for the welfare of the minorities. With its own record of the dismal treatment of minority communities, Pakistan would be well advised to set its house in order instead of lecturing the world community. This is a country where religious and ethnic minorities are systematically persecuted. The frequent instances of attack and vandalism on the places of worship of minority communities in Pakistan and the countless cases of abduction, forced conversion, and marriage of minor girls from minority communities in Pakistan are evidence of vulnerable status of minorities in this country. We have a special civilizational link with the Afghan people. In the current crisis, as a first responder, India has provided humanitarian assistance to the tune of 50,000 metric tons of wheat and 500,000 doses of COVID-19 vaccine, and will continue to provide the same. There are thousands of Afghan nationals who continue to stay in India. The fact, Excellencies, that decades have seen the rise of Asia, we are faced with a diverse set of challenges to peace and security in Asia of economic growth, food and energy security, connectivity deficits, low intra-regional trade, and particularly of environment. Connectivity initiatives should be based on principles of transparency, broad participation, local priorities, financial sustainability, and respect for sovereignty and territorial integrity of all nations. As we go ahead, it is important to remember that our future remains closely intertwined. In this context, we view CICA as an important platform to provide and promote multilateralism in diverse and multipolar Asia. On this historic occasion, it is pertinent to remember that for creating a platform to achieve the objective of cooperative environment in Asia, the first CICA summit was held in 2002 at Almaty, the former capital of Kazakhstan. The then Prime Minister of India, Shri Atal Bihari Vajpayee, had participated in the very first summit, highlighting the unifying factors in Asia. He had noted, all the nations of present-day Asia are in some way or the other products of the process of interaction and integration that has gone on in Asia throughout the history. Therefore, in our tendency to focus on the conflicts of the day, we should not forget that we belittle our shared past. The countries share a geography that has facilitated a rich commerce throughout history, the movement of goods, ideas, and people. Traveling through the region, our shared history has left common imprints on our languages, customs, societies, habits, and traditions. Long ago, Sanatan Dharma and Buddhism had traveled along to many parts of our continent. Later, the Sufi saints' message of universal love and brotherhood echoed across India, Central Asia, and beyond. All the nations of present-day Asia are in some way or the other products of the process of interaction and integration that has gone on in Asia throughout the history. Excellencies, we should work towards confidence-building measures that should actively promote economic cooperation, cultural interaction, and people-to-people contacts. We should consistently strive to strengthen trade, investment, joint ventures, and cooperation in science and technology, human resource development, both within and among all the regions of Asia. On behalf of India and on behalf of my government, I congratulate Kazakhstan for leadership in steering various initiatives that seek to make CICA more relevant in the contemporary world. Thank you very much.